What's going on, everyone? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the foreign exchange markets. We're going to be taking a look for the upcoming week, how we're going to be positioning ourselves, see if any setups are developing. We're going to start this off looking at the DXY, the US dollar index. We're going to take a look at what's going on with the dollar right now, whether or not it's weakening, strengthening, how we should be looking to position ourselves. We all know that ever since we broke out to the downside of this channel over here that broke out at the beginning of June, and look at this nice little breakdown out of that channel, right? Here's the breakdown, the retest of that broken support as resistance, and then the resumption down. We came down as far as 95.81. Here we are now after testing twice. The resistance now at 97.73, have backed down into this local support over here on Friday. And then we closed back towards no man's land between the closest resistance and this local support over here. We are about halfway actually between the 95.82, which was the last leg down. If we break down below that, then there could be obviously some further downside on the DXY. Taking a look at 94.70, that would be the low coming in from the March lows. March was funny on the DXY, right? We saw towards the end of February, the dollar really weakening. It was brutal, the move on the euro, the US dollar across the board. And then out of nowhere, the dollar just snapped. Boom. All the way back up over there. Interesting. Oh, by the way, that goes back to the beginning of January when we had that breakout of this channel, right? That breakout, then the sharp move down, this was crazy. Move up, right? Consolidation for a couple months. Now we've broken to the downside. Now you can see we've come up and tested this resistance over here, right? The highest we were looking to get was this trend line, broken support, trend line resistance, or this 98.30 resistance up here. We've so far have been rejected now twice at 97.73. And the dollar, the weakness on the dollar looks set to continue. What happens if we do break above 97.73, that double resistance over there, that double touch on the resistance that we didn't break above? What would you do? Would you go long? Well, right above that, you have that trend line resistance coming in. This is going to continue to come down. And then you have the 98.30s, the big number. Above 98.30, you could say, all right, the dollar is doing its thing again, but below that level, and specifically below this trend line here coming in, the 98.73 level now, below that, you're looking for the continued dollar weakness. With that in mind, let's look at what's going on the euro US dollar. And here, looking at the euro US dollar, you could see that we are getting close. We keep testing this resistance. This trend line resistance, if you just step back a second, you could see is going back quite a while. This goes back, well, how far does this go back? This goes back to 2007, 2008 actually, it goes back to. That is a 12-year trend line, and you could see that we are on the verge of perhaps looking to make a leg above here. That would then give us some room into the next resistance. The next resistance would be coming in right now somewhere around 1.168, right? So depending on when and if we break, we'll be looking at that. And then you can see the support down over here I have at 1.11816. You could see that if I zoom out a little, you could see that this is an important level over here. And you could see that we have since tested this twice. We are consolidating and been consolidating now in this range, right? It's been pretty clear to us all last week as well. Some opportunities in here. There were some opportunities in here. And what happens right now? Well, you got to lean towards a break out over here, a break above this trend line, right? Especially now coming off that swing low over here, rising up. You have to have that type of bias, I believe, at this point. You're not playing the rejection here of this resistance, even though the euro-US dollar is trading all the way up at 1.13. A lot of people are talking about a much lower euro-US dollar. I don't know if that's happening in the near future, right? We're swing traders. We're looking at what's happening next week. Nevertheless, what's happening 3 or 6 months from now when it comes to the currency pairs over here. And right now we see that this looks like it has the possibility this week of breaking out here to the upside. This could be a good move coming up here on the euro US dollar. That brings to mind what's going on with the US dollar Japanese yen. Let's take a look at that. All right, US dollar Japanese yen. It's kind of in no man's land. And when I say kind of, I mean big time. You could see that I'm going to zoom in close. You're looking at the 3-day over here, and you could see we haven't gone anywhere. We haven't gone anywhere since April, and this range continues to narrow, meaning that it's getting ready to break one way or the other. But if you step back, you could see the break could possibly be leading to a big move. You could see this pattern. I'm just going to draw it in here. You could see with this blue line over here, this pattern that I'm drawing in. And, you know, this is where we are. We're coming to the apex over here. She's going to break. It could lead to possibly a nice move over here. A breakdown could lead pretty quickly down towards the big number 100. And a break up would bring into the question the big heavy resistance at 112.20, which above there opens up the upside on this. So interesting levels, but not really from a swing trader's perspective. That's more of a position trader's trade coming up here on the euro US dollar. Not something to focus in on right now, actually something not to focus on, but keep aware of. US dollar Mexican peso, however, let's take a look at this. We'll start here on the 3-day. Do you remember during the liquidity crisis, the move that we saw here on the US dollar versus the peso? It was pretty intense, right? Where are we at now? You could see since coming into this resistance at 23.20, we are since now coming down to test the support. Let me come in over here to get a closer look right over here. All right, look at it this way. The US dollar Mexican peso has been a fantastic proxy of the S&P 500. If you believe or think that from here the S&P is going to crash, right? If that's the side of the trade that you're leaning towards, you right now want to be long the US dollar versus the Mexican peso. But if you think that the bottom is in and you're looking at here the markets continuing, even though they're already at dizzying heights, equity markets to continue, then at that point you want to be short the US dollar versus the Mexican peso. And that's if you believe a weak dollar is in the cards. And I can talk about 6 months out and because we have the US election then. Generally speaking, the dollar is weaker going into the election. Plus now you have this special set of circumstances right now where you're seeing actual stimulus and more stimulus coming soon. All of these things point to a weaker dollar in the near term. And if that's the case, then you might see the Mexican peso, right? If we take out the June highs on the equity markets, you're looking at, and I say June highs, let me just flip over to show you what I'm talking about. Over here, the June high on the S&P, right? If we take out that even next week, then we're looking at a much lower low here on the US dollar Mexican peso. We could be testing 21.50 again and a break below that. Well, that could really open up a downside move unless we start seeing any signs of dollar strength. I'm not looking here on the long side anymore on the US dollar Mexican peso. I'm actually now thinking of getting into a position going the other way. That is, as long as we're seeing this rally continue in the equity markets, which, by the way, we've been all over, right? And anyone, staying updated with our updates or with our live streams or with our afternoon updates have been on the right side of this market. Nice going into Friday, trading over here. NASDAQ at new all-time highs. S&P, Dow, they look like they're headed. They look like they're headed here to the June high. And we're going to see what happens if we get up there. It's earnings seasons next week. I'm sorry for veering off the FX pairs here. This is for those that follow the channel regularly. We are looking at earnings seasons coming up. We'll see whether or not that is a headwind for the equity markets or that actually is a little bit of fuel for them to take another leg up. We'll be tracking it every day. We're going to take a brief look here at Bitcoin, you can see that it continues to consolidate really well above the 9,000 level, and it's been doing that for quite a while right now. It has been maintaining this since June. Let's see what happens over here. Again, if we're talking about risk on, which we've been and continue to do, then Bitcoin is looking to go ahead and actually make its next leg up. When it makes its next leg up, right? And that's the challenge 10,400 again, as it did back over here in the beginning of June. And when it breaks above that, that will be setting off the bull market here on Bitcoin. And until then, and right now, it continues to consolidate well. It's not following through like we're seeing on gold right now. Gold trading here, obviously beautiful at the 1800 level, continues to be buy on pullbacks into support. Silver as well. Listen, in the comments below, I want to find out what you're trading. We had 2 people in the Telegram group. We had 2 people trading this weekend, Tezos, and I asked, is that officially the start now of the bull market in altcoins, or is that because the crypto markets are open and you saw a good trade and took it? I would like to know in the comments what else you guys have been focused in on and trading. When I say guys, I do mean sincerely guys and girls. And I hope you all have a great weekend. See you all tomorrow. All right, everyone, take care.